Have you ever felt fear so strong you stopped breathing or been creeped out by what might be lurking in the dark? You are in the right place. Thank you for joining the Zoli Art Montana podcast. My name is Linda, here with Zoli Althea Brown. Zoli, what scares you the most?
Me, what goes on in my head. I am one of those people, and I think others can relate, that I'm a hyper artistic feminine person. So I'm like the chipmunks that run around. So my schedule with myself can be quite hard on me. My mom used to say, don't beschry yourself. And what that means is don't give yourself such a hard time. So I am learning not to scare myself so much when my mind goes off. I'm having to take that and apply it to something physical, to do art, music, or writing. And I think with a lot of creative people, you and I have discussed this, we can get ahead of ourselves. We live in the future instead of the past. My husband is a past person. He likes history. I'm a future person. We kind of meet at Starbucks in the middle, somewhere. But I think I scare myself the most because my mind will take off and imagine, what about this, or this? Then it becomes an abstract ideal to where it appears to take shape or form or manifest. How is that different from hallucination, from psychic experience? Is the brain generating that, or is it coming from the external world? I think it can be both. And right now, things are rather energetic on this planet. I think everyone has noticed things are speeding up. And what does that mean? It means that time is not what it used to be. Reality is not what it used to be. And so we're having to adjust and change. And so when I tend to get hard on myself for not being in the moment, which I don't always do, then that scares me. But as far as the bugaboos out there and supernatural thing, I've spoken of how comical it is when a being shows up and scares the holy bejesus out of me, like going down the stairs of the studio here at 2 in the morning. And I felt somebody behind me, and I said, okay, I'm going down the stairs now. And they're like, it's just me, Zoli. I'm here all the time. In our new book that we're having come out, probably is this next year, maybe 2026, it's on supernatural beings in the natural world. This wonderful creative artist in Montenegro, Christina, creates the pictures from what I tell her that I see. And there is a gentleman that shows up here all the time. He's in the astral realm. It's an astral being, and he scares the heck out of me because he can manifest so clearly. Is that demonic? No, not everything that scares you is bad. Most things aren't. So I scare myself more than anything. And I think as human beings, we kind of do that too.
Yeah, we do scare ourselves more, and it seems reasonable that we seek fear outside of ourselves in order to avoid the fear within, the fear of
For
our
a
own
kid,
self.
what monster scared you the most? I mean, you and I are different generations. For me, it was the werewolf, scared the holy hell out of me. Lon Chaney, I think he played the werewolf. What scared you the most?
It would have been a version of the boogeyman, and I remember a children's story where this creature comes in at night and peeks over the end of your bed, and that was always my biggest fear when I was young.
Was that a Canadian myth?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up again, but it must have been. And I'm sharing this because you talk a lot about these supernatural beings, and you just mentioned
Yes.
Christina Morrison, our illustrator, and we've put a sample of some of these beings in the Reality Pirate Chronicles Volume 2.
Yes.
I was wondering if this one that you have, I'm going to flip through them quickly to get to the one that to me embodies fear. And this guy.
Oh, that was terrifying. That was like a Dementor. I mean, J.K. Rowling really picked up on the archetypal figure of the big scary being that just sucks all the oxygen and good out of the room. That was when I was living in Tenino running my farm, and that pit bull next to me was Gargoyle, the 100-pound pit bull that was an idiot. We all miss him. We all love him. But I was in a frozen state. And I must have awakened right during the sleep cycle where you freeze. But there was someone, somebody, something there. I believe that I was conscious both astrally in the other realm and physically too. Because he sensed it also. He came and he sat by the bed. But that was scary. And why did that happen? I wasn't taking drugs, didn't do alcohol, nothing like that. I was doing a lot of research on demonology at that time. Did I create that? I don't think so. But I always leave that up for people to judge it. And in this book, Supernatural Beings in the Natural World, we're going to have 50 different beings that I have seen that maybe other people have seen too. And people will recognize, like, I've seen that. And I think a lot of these are archetypal. They may be generated from the brain, and we can create these things physically. We can manifest it almost in a poltergeist way because we are that potent. We are able to do that.
What would you, for people who don't want to wait till the book comes out, what advice would you give when it comes to having these supernatural encounters?
Well, I think you need somebody that you can talk to, that you can trust. And certainly, there's a lot online. God knows how much of it is true or if it isn't. I don't know. I don't judge that because I only speak of my own experience. But I've been doing this for over 50 years. And at first, I had some counselors that I could talk to, and I would enjoy that. It would help. It would talk me back down to reality of what was here and what wasn't here. None of them said I was crazy, that I was psychotic, that I needed meds. And that wasn't my specific thing. If I needed it, I would have taken it. But that wasn't it. They were very kind. And I would suggest that people look for help. You are surrounded with help. Oh my God. We have so many beings around us that are ancestors. And we have so many beings that are in the astral realm who just love you and want to help you. What about your family? What about your friend? We are filled with that. You know, my cat, Sophia the cat, she helps me too. I help her. So we are in this cycle of giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And a lot of times when we're encountering scary thing, people, we isolate, we go into fear, flight, and then fight if you have to. We're trying to avoid all that. So it's like me coming down the stairs with that gentleman that's standing behind me. It was the physical reaction of just fear. I've gotten better with it. I've gotten better, and I've talked to him and say, don't do that. Just don't. But I would hope that people, if they're worried about their sanity, get some help. Because there's certainly times I thought I'm just batshit crazy. Maybe I am. I don't know. I'm just presenting it. And so if you are having difficulties with this, please seek help. Please seek help from a certified psychological counselor, from clergy, from somebody that you trust and who you know will not go, oh, you are full of it, because they only believe in the physical world. If you only believe in the five physical senses, that's kind of satanic because that's what rules this world. And that's why this world itself, the physicality of us makes us want things, the desire body, and that holds us. We get stuck in the addictions of it. So when you're encountering something from another world, you don't know what to do with it unless it's something that you've experienced before. But please do find somebody to help you so you don't feel isolated.
Not to stay stuck in that fear.
Yeah, I would suggest that. I mean, I don't live in anybody else's world but mine, and you don't want to come into mine, believe me, because it's really unusual. And I've been trained to do this. I'm a psychic medium, and it hasn't been easy. Don't ever say you want to do it because get ready. You're going to have a lot of tests, and it's going to be painful mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So I would suggest pay attention to your life on a daily basis. If you're having weird stuff happen, make sure you're not having a psychosis. Seriously. Why do you think there's so many exorcists in Catholicism that the first thing that you have to do is get a psyche eval? We need to be sure that you aren't having physical things, that the brain is generating these experiences. Because if it's not, if the meds don't help, then it could be some sort of satanic or demonic attachment to where none of the meds are going to work and you need something else. I won't even go into that. But to seek help is the most important thing. Don't isolate. There's a lot of help out there and you deserve it. You might be surprised in how many people have these experiences. Oh, wait a minute. That'd be everybody, but not everybody really negotiates it as real.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you're not always able to acknowledge what's happening, or if you've not heard anybody talk about it or have had these experiences, you might think you're crazy when you're just reacting to the situations around you.
Yeah, it's like being on a swing as a kid. You're going this way, you're going that way. You know that eventually you can put your feet down and stop, but while it's swinging, you're all over the chart with it. And so the best thing that I think that people can do is pay attention to your physical life. Pay attention to what grounds you. What do you love? Who loves you? Did you eat today? Did you brush your teeth? Have you checked your bank account? That's what's important to come into the physical world. This other stuff will happen anyway. But if you can't connect it to the physical world, you will feel batshit crazy.
Yeah, some of the ways it connects to the physical world do make you feel crazy. As you're talking about the supernatural beings, and this has happened to me before, my eyes started watering and tearing up as you're talking about it. And it's not a it wasn't a response I was expecting, but because I'm aware, that supernatural I react that way sometimes. I don't think I'm, losing my
The
mind.
sound is cut out.
Oh, dear. Hopefully I come back.
There you are. The poltergeist.
Just as I'm talking about effects of supernatural beings, I have tech issues.
Well, that's a very good point, though, because we will have body responses. Sometimes I have seen it when I've been working with someone and they tear up. Say, why am I feeling so emotional? Because somebody finally believes you. It doesn't matter that it's me, but you don't feel alone. You know what happens if you're downtown and somebody comes up and they have a puppy? Oh my God. Now for me, that's just wonderful. Very few people have cats on leashes, some do. But it's that feeling of that you are loved and you are protected. And when these things happen, you can feel very unprotected because you don't know what to do with it. And physical responses, some people will cough, some people body parts might itch, that they want to self-reflect by going within themselves. Those aren't wrong things. That's your body saying, yeah, this is real. And it's giving you an actual real a real feeling. And you're going to have to relate the unphysical things, the things that are not your five physical senses, to the physical world in order to access it. That's why Zoli art does what it does. We're saying these things connect. For example, if 50% of things are spiritual or woo-woo, the other 50 is physical. I don't know what percentage that is, but those things have to connect somewhere. And where they connect is our experience of them. And so find somebody that can help you access those things. But I would highly suggest it's somebody that's a degree that has been educated, that has been tested. I know a lady that says that she doesn't need to have a degree because she's read all the same books that psychologists do. No, you are a fake. You might be able to do what you can do, but you have not been tested and verified. I haven't. All my degrees are ministerial. I have 6 postgraduate degrees, but I'm a minister. I'm a reverend doctor. And so I do not counsel. I have not had counseling training. I'm not a teacher. I certainly haven't gone to school to teach anybody. I'd run out of the room screaming. I'm not good at it. I'm a research analyst. So find out who does what and where can you get the help that you need. I would definitely connect you with a clergy person or somebody in psychology or psychiatry.
That's an important point because there are a lot of nefarious people posing as experts, especially in the digital age. So with that, education behind them, you can be fairly assured that at least they have some knowledge of the therapy and the help you're looking for.
You would hope so. There are doctors out there that graduated last in their class. I'm not going to go there. That happens too. And there's a lot of stuff from people with no degrees and eighth grade education who have great wisdom and great teaching
Yeah,
and great knowledge, but it's one hit wonders a lot of times. There's a lot of astrologers, tarot readers, psychics, and I'm not saying they're wrong. Absolutely. I've gotten great help from those people. But if you're seriously concerned and having difficulty, please go to somebody that also, it's like somebody's in between them who they've been tested by and who they have to answer to.
that's a reasonable option.
I think it's reasonable. I'm going to be practical. I haven't had good experience not doing that, and I don't see other people having good experience going off this tangent, off that tangent, and that can be kind of fun unless you really need serious help, especially with children. You know, children. There are people out there that know how to work with children who are mediumistic, and it's getting better and better. More of these kids are coming into the world. You know, I didn't get it, but I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to know what it was like to not have that. And my parents were just so normal, just normal people. It was like Harry Potter and they were muggles. But the muggles, thank God, taught me how to live in the physical world. That was their job. So if you're a psychic and this and that, and you're mad at everybody that doesn't believe you, grow up. Not everybody's going to believe you. They're just not. You have to believe you and you have to find a way to come into your own being, and you'll do that gradually. It's not going to happen all at once.
That's a beautiful shift in focus to think that people that are against us or saying that we're crazy, it's not about them. We don't have to go down that path. We only have to go within and know ourselves.
It took me till I was probably 50 to get that. I was a total abstract Neptunian abstract idealist. If I thought it was real, and if you didn't believe in all this stuff, and if you didn't believe in alternative medicine, then you were wrong. That's how I was. And I think God allowed me to make an absolute idiot about myself, about being like that, because now I know what the field is, what the energy field is. And I've come to center with that. There are good allopaths, there are good naturopaths, and there's some that are awful. And so we're coming into the center with things. We're finding a balance between the Eastern beliefs, the Eastern therapies, and the Western work. You know, if I break my leg, I'm not going to go to the health food store and buy vitamin C. For God's sake, go to an allopathic doctor, go to the ER, get the real help that you need. And to go to the health food store and be self-medicating, that can be a little iffy too. So I would suggest that if you can, get help from somebody who really knows how to help you in that area, and then listen.
And get help with somebody who wants to help you and not help their own agenda.
Yeah, we all do that a bit. So what? I mean, we're just people. We're all, as I say, we're all totally insane in certain ways. But somebody who that is their work and their profession. I've known people who are psychologists and who are naturopaths and who are attorneys. When I go to them, they are professional and wonderful. And then the few people that I didn't keep going to, who I befriended in their personal life, they were awful. So what can you say? You can have somebody that's completely immature that's one of the best attorneys you've ever met. So it's not that black and white. But the point is that if you have a professional person, you have recourse. And this is a material world. This is a deep, dark, evil place. At some time in your life, you're going to need help and you're going to have to give it too. So we have to know the difference between go and no. Should we go forward with something, or should we have to say no to ourselves using our willpower, our God given willpower? That's your frontal brain. You and I were talking about that the other day, that you really don't develop until your first Saturn return, 26 to 30. You just don't have it. No, I think mine was late. Mine took me to be about 36.
That makes me think of this. And so I'm going to share it again from the same book. There we go. Know thyself is one thing you come back to in your art and your writing.
Yeah, timid noce, which is Latin for know thyself. Mom used to say that all the time, to thine own self be true. And that piece right there represents the two pieces of us, the polarities, and how they come together at the top. It's rather beautiful, and it's rather expansive and fiery and creative. But we are trying to know ourselves. Can we ever totally know ourselves? I don't think so. But as you get older, it should get a little better because we've been slapped around so much for being absolute fools in certain areas. I certainly have. And so seek to know yourself. My work, this talking, this being, this set, this makeup, these clothes, this is theater. And this is me presenting me. I'm just presenting this. And I want to make it interesting and I want to make it fun. But get your own. Get your own life. What interests you? What do you not want anymore in your life? And you can't always just stop, or we can't always just start, no or go. It takes time. And this is what this frontal brain, this discernment is about. But we learn to be a little bit reticent. That's been very hard for me. Oh my God. An Aries with a Mars in the first house, Grand Trine in the fire sign. Yeah, it's all fire. My husband's like wanting to throw a bucket of water on me half the time. Maybe he should with my hair.
That's why you lived in the rainforest.
Yeah, I did live in Olympia. I loved living in Olympia. That was like Scotland. I'm Scottish. That was like normal. We're now in Montana in the high desert. I mean, I love it here too. And the world's a beautiful place.
It's curious how we were talking about the frontal part of our brain not developing and how that connects astrologically with our Saturn return, and that shows that the know thyself is really, that's what kind of our purpose. That's a lifelong journey.
If we know ourself, what self are we wanting to know? We have the soul, we have the personality. These are the different rays of the body. You have your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Your soul body is who you really, really are. It comes back every lifetime, every one. And the personality is the circus that we play in with each different life. And so the using the personality to reach the soul is one way of doing it through prayer, meditation, and service, giving in and giving out. You give to yourself in here and then you give out. And there's a balance that needs to happen. If you meditate and pray all the time, you're going to implode. If you just do busy in the world all the time, you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to have any self reflection. So it can be different for everybody, but I think the formula is the same. This is what Maitreya talks about learn to serve and to serve yourself by finding your soul. It takes lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to really contact the soul, but you know it when you feel it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting that we discover bits of it that are already there, and it's almost like the fear is is complicating things that don't need to be complicated.
We all do it. I say the two enemies of humanity is emotions and gravity. You know, we're in a Saturnian way. We are here on this planet very much. We're here on the planet, right? We can experience the physical world, and then the emotions get all jumbled up. And by more contact with the soul, the emotions are more flowing, and we don't get stuck in them. We're more on the middle path. It's a learning. I don't do great with it a lot of times. I just don't. I think it's one of the things that I came here to learn. I'll let you know how that goes.
When we
Coffee helps.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And just be a person. I really harp on this that you don't have to be from another planet, even though your soul might be. You don't have to be a guru, even though you've taken 1,000 meditation courses. You don't have to be a master. You don't have to be different. Just by being who you really are, you're going to be different. As a kid, we want to be unusual and different. We don't know that if we were just ourselves, we would. And you and I chatted about this yesterday, the difference in a renegade and a rebel. Kids, we all go through a rebellious stage because we're trying to find out who we are. The rebel is plutonic. It's going to be rebelling against something being forced on it, against an authority. Is it bad? It just is. And the renegade is naturally itself. The renegade is going to be for or against or whatever, but it's more connected to itself. That was also connected with the conversation we had about the difference in power and force. It's a great book about that. But force is what most people say. The New Age community, here I go again. You guys don't get on me. But to keep saying how powerful you are, you're being forceful. And to implode on other people to convince them, like I used to do when I was I don't have no idea who I am, what I'm doing. I was a kid too. We force that on other people because it makes our world bigger. Power is quiet. Power acts on what it can act on to create a difference for the whole, for the good. Can you be personally powerful? That powerful comes from where? The powerful is generated by the creator, whatever you believe that to be, by your higher power. That's real power. We borrow it. We're given pieces of it, but we can't totally be it. Not yet. Not many of us are fourth degree initiates. We're just not. And so this is something that we aspire to, and you do it with love. You do it with affection for yourself and for others, but to have boundaries. Where do you stop and they start? This is very difficult work. This isn't easy. It's just not. And if it gets too hard to douse yourself with drugs and alcohol and addiction, that shuts down the frontal brain. That's what's giving you those boundaries. And that's what gives you the permission to go no or go no. I'm not going to go. I'm going to say no because it's not right for me. So power over force, rebel, renegade, these are kind of opposites that we play with, but we're in a world that is bipolar. The world is created and we try to bring these opposites together. That's the only way I know how to explain it. But that's my world. Other people might I hope they have a different or better interpretation.
Well, that interpretation really helps alleviate some of the fears we have around power when we see that it's actually force instead of power, because it doesn't it's not as unclear, I suppose.
Most of it's force. Most of it is, and it's fear. What's the opposite of love? Hate? No, fear. It's fear. It's that we fear we won't get, we won't have, we can't maintain, we this, we that. It's the personality again. Power doesn't really come through the personality, it comes through the soul. And it comes and it goes, right? We know when we can be powerful and we can be calm. And I didn't write the book on it. There are people that know a lot more about it than I do. But to me, power all comes from Creator, from God, whatever you want that to be. I know what I call that, but that's just my personal feeling. I in no way think that I'm powerful. I wouldn't call myself powerful. I can act powerfully in certain ways, but I have to be sure that it's appropriate and I'm not forcing myself on other people because I'll do that occasionally. I'm just a person. It gets back to just be a people because you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, what I hear you saying is that power cannot be enforced, imposed on others. That's force.
Yeah. And we can certainly feel that it's powerful. If you're in a dungeon and somebody's forcing you to be there, that feels very powerful. It feels it. Yeah, it is. And force is a power, but it's not the true power because that only comes from the creator, comes from higher power.
So to circle back to our conversations about supernatural beings and experiences, then the power that we feel that they have over us at that time is really just the force of our fear.
Can be. It can be. It depends on what you've encountered. If you're doing a lot of drugs and alcohol, if you're doing crazy practices in this, that, dedicating your life to some bizarre thing, then you can meet nasty beings from the first two astral realms, which is hell. You can meet purgatorial souls, people who died from drug and alcohol addiction. You still have it. It's there and it's very, very real. The purgs are out there. But in order to attract it, you have to have the magnetics within you to attract that. Nothing's just going to happen to you. Think about how many things could so-called happen. That gets into the body code, emotion code area of removing these imprints. Dr. Nelson says that we have at least 300 in there. So it takes a while to get rid of those. But because of that tag is there, we keep attracting us the same stuff over and over and over. We just do. Why don't we always attract the good stuff? Welcome to Earth. But you have to be very careful what you dedicate yourself to. You have to be very careful what you believe in and what you're going to try to create in the physical world to mirror that. And if you're trying to gain followers or you're an influencer, I have no idea what that is. I'm too old. Thank God I'm 71 years old. I still can't figure it out. Well, there are 50,000 kinds of mascara you should use. I'm just not going there. But I'm old. I like that. Good. I can get away with it. So find out what you really believe and try to be, to me, the ideal. The good ideal is to try to be kind. Try to be kind. Give yourself a break and give other people a break and look for the good. And that you will not be creating more imprints that will attract icky stuff to you.
That's simply put, and seems easy.
It can be. It can be very difficult too. If I'm in a bad mood, tell me that then.
True. It's
I'll
not
be
easy
like,
to be kind when
"Yeah."
somebody's irritating you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm Scottish. I'm irascible. I tend not to lash out at people. I don't do that. But what goes on in my head, I'm glad you can't see it. So I have to control it. It's no or go. I have to control that. We all do. My mother used to say, you get mad, you get glad. It's very simply put. She was the queen of aphorism. She had great aphorism. We should do a book on Ruth Engel's aphorism.
Yes. Simplest is easiest to understand for us most of the time. We need
It,
easy sayings.
it is. It's guidelines. And we like these guidelines. We like things that are kind and that are simple. Because when we're looking for those things, we don't feel either one of those things. We feel confused or we've done something wrong or we're guilt or shame. Who knows what we feel? But we all feel the same emotions. We're just all the same. And that's what's fascinating to me. That here we are on this globe and we're all here, eight something billion people that all have the same emotions. That's crazy.
It
You could
is.
say, well, you're a psychopath. You didn't bond with your mother at age 2 or this or that. You don't have compassion. It's in there. You can't express it. It might be a neurological defect. I don't know. As I said, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or teacher. I'm just not. I'm a Montana housewife with a big mouth.
You're just a person.
I'm just a person.
So when, as a person who gets startled by these beings every now and then, what do you do when you're startled? Have you learned to shrug off that fear and laugh it off?
It's been gradual. The very first experience that I recall of having psychic sight, that inner sight, was I was lying on the grass. It was in Birmingham, Alabama, and I was going to University of Alabama in Birmingham, thinking I was going to be a psychologist, but I couldn't understand statistics. That didn't happen. And I was lying on the grass in front of my apartment, and there was a mushroom there, and I saw the mushroom turn a bright gold, a real gold. I'll never forget that. It was strange. Now, what had happened was my brain generating that, or was that given to me by a teaching guidance person in spirit? I don't know. The point is that it changed my reality and it scared me. And so if that happened today, I'd be, oh, yeah, I know what that is. So by having the experiences, you attenuate to them and you will learn they are not going to hurt you. It is very, I call it now disconcerting when I'm walking outside and I see that Sir Serval, that big black serval cat that's around our house in spirit. Now I see him and I saw you. That's what I always say. I see you. And so I interact differently. It takes time. Say I'm old. I mean, I still get caught in it. It's the human being ones that catch me. When Margot comes into the room, the one that looks like Blavatsky, she's very Russian. She's very Russian. She's not Blavatsky. Blavatsky is now born as uh, uh, a young boy in Russia. She's almost a master. She's amazing. Hopefully, she's calmer in this life. But that's how Margot looks. And that can be a little disconcerting when I feel the presence so close to me. But I can talk myself out of it because now I know what it is. But there's still that it's like if you're reading, all of a sudden the buzzer goes off. You're like, oh, that's what it is. It's a physical response to an external stimuli. And I call those beings, it is an external stimuli because did I generate it with my brain? No. I'll give you an example of the difference. I was at the dump the other day. I go to the dump every month, fill the back of my truck with all the dump stuff. And my friends at the dump, I know everybody. They know me. It's great. I love going to the dump. It's immediate gratification. So there I am. I'm packed. I'm backed up, and I go to the back of my truck and I pick everything and I'm throwing it in the pile. And I look over and I see a gnome character that was pissed off sitting on a rock. For the first time, I doubted it. I said, "Is that real? Why am I doubting it?" My brain was generating it because I saw a rock and something in me imagined there was a gnome there. So that's the difference. When I see these things and I didn't make them up, I can tell the difference if I have or not. Because that so called gnome that was sitting on the rock, I was thinking about it. I was thinking, what would he look like? Would he be mad? How long would it be? Should I take a picture of that? So I'm fantasizing with it. But when these guys just physically appear, I just watch it. It's the most amazing thing to me, but that is my work. I'm a psychic medium. I've been trained to do this and to see this and to know that that's really there, but it's not in the physical world. It's in the five physical senses of the non-physical world. And my job is to tell people about it and to translate it. Because I think people see a lot of these in the supernatural beings book, in the natural world, people will recognize beings that they've seen also. And there are countless numbers. Oh my God. 50 is like just a little atom in the universe. There are so many.
It's so neat to me the way you describe them because it feels like they're just beings in your world. And over time, it progressed that way. Whereas it started out, it was more of a fear or something that scared you and was out of the norm.
Yeah, it was me maturing also, just having a level of maturity. It got better when I married my husband, this big JSOC operator guy. I mean, he trained SWAT teams. You don't mess with that. And so that gave me a sense of comfort and of peace of mind. And I felt protected physically. I'm a very feminine woman. It's just what I am. Do I carry guns? Yeah, I'm always armed. And yeah, I can drive a backhoe and this and that. But this is a different thing. This is an energy field that we're talking about. And so when Tom and I married 13 years ago, this all started coming home to me in a different way to where, oh, I've got the help I wanted. And that's why I ask people to get help, find some help. Only healthy people ask for help. I
Well,
love that statement.
say it again.
I read this years ago. Only healthy people ask for help. Only healthy. When I feel healthy, I will ask for help. When I'm going to be a codependent martyr and do it myself, it doesn't go well. Never
So
does.
that's accurate.
Tom, yeah, Tom will be like, "You think you want to talk to somebody?" No, I'm fine. Well, you know what fine is? Fouled up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. There's another word you can use for that.
Mm.
So to be a healthy person, we have to get out of the freeze, out of the out of this. And will this happen? Yes, it'll happen. It'll keep happening over and over and over because that's being a person. The point is you don't stay there.
Yes, don't
You
stay there.
move through it. Right. Right.
Move
Don't
to
do that.
almost anything else, right? Pick some go back to service and prayer.
Go back to something. Go back to what you believe in. I like to say mantras. They're beautiful. If you say the name of Christ 7 times, it is an exorcism. I don't know what Judaism or Hinduism or Vedic. There are in each of your belief systems. There are things that you can practice and stay if your mind is racing. That works for me. Maybe in the future I won't have to do that. I don't know. I'm not there.
Yeah, the whole Pono one works really well for me. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I thank you. I love you. That's easy and powerful.
It is. It's very, very powerful. And for those who don't know, the Ho'oponopono prayer was said, well, I think it was presented into the world yet again. It's an old Hawaiian one. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. It clears the slate. This was supposedly a psychiatrist, and he was working in a institution for the criminally insane, and he supposedly started saying that prayer over the charts, and these people supposedly got better. I have used that over and over again when I went through relationship breakup many years ago. I feel like that kind of saved me from being an absolute idiot in my mind about what should have, could have, would have happened. And so it's like a detachment, and it takes you back to the middle point, and it can take you back to self compassion. We can't feel compassion and love for others truly until we've got at least a bit of it in ourselves. We have to connect that to the heart.
Yes. I think that's a beautiful place to leave it. That reminder that it all starts within.
It does. And it ends there too. Absolutely. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Zoli. As always, it's a pleasure. And we look forward to talking to you again.